Hello there, Leo, and welcome to your December 2019 forecast. Of course, this is the last one of the year, and in many ways, it's my favorite because I view this month as a sort of gateway or a portal month. I've been talking to each and every sign about that. Because it stands at that connection between the year that we've just left behind and the year that's ahead of us, it's a very magical time, particularly when it comes to deciding on what it is in your life that you're ready to kind of walk away from, basically breaking a cycle, and perhaps what it is that you'd like to bring in. Resolution should start right here and right now. You don't have to wait until January to start to make those. In fact, if you can do it in advance of New Year's, it's going to be much more effective because the energy of change is going to start to get in your energy, in your thought process. And I was talking to, I think, Cancer this month about the power of mantra. And once you know what you want, if you can repeat that as a part of your daily affirmation and visualize it, it's going to help bring it into being. You're going to breathe life into that. This month, as I look at everything for you, I'm going to try to observe trends that are presenting themselves for the year ahead. And again, anything that feels like it's time to release it for this year. This is especially important this month because 2020 is going to be a foundational year. Number 4 numerologically is all about meeting new people, creating new building blocks for what you're trying to do in your life. So it could be starting a business, going back to school, meeting someone that you want to start a relationship with. It's all about building. This year was very much about disrupting. Next year is about finding harmony. So in order to get that foundation really strong, I want to get any of the cracks out of that or anything that's kind of pulling it off balance. And so that's what I'll be looking at in addition to any other messages that come through. Before we get too deep into the reading, I'd like to just say hello and welcome back any of my return viewers. For those of you especially that have been with me for the past 5 years, I appreciate all of your love, your support, your curiosity, your enthusiasm. It inspires me, so thanks for showing up. If you're brand new, I'd also like to extend a really warm welcome and give you a quick overview of what's ahead. Every month, I like to separate the reading into a few distinct parts, beginning with the channeled message. The channeled message is a chance for me to connect with my intuition, and what I do is I bless the cards, meditate, and whatever I hear, feel, or see, then I share with you, and oftentimes I write things down in automatic writing at that point. After this, I will use the cards that I've selected for your sign and I'll lay out a full Celtic Cross for the month. This is going to very clearly indicate high points, any sort of challenges, and other things that are coming through that are going to either help or hinder your progress over the course of this month. After that, I'll extend the forecast because there are certain areas that I know that you like to focus on each month. In the expanded forecast, we'll look at health, wealth, love, and destiny using some oracle cards. As you can see, this really gives a nice overview of all the potential energy, again, all of the blocks, all of the blessings for the month. And if you like what you see, please stick around until the end of the video. At that point, in addition to giving you a brief overview of everything that we talked about and a closing word, I'll also let you know how you can connect and give back to the channel. This includes everything from liking and subscribing to joining me across social media, booking an appointment if you're interested, or giving a contribution through PayPal or Patreon, or even clicking the join button here. I'll get into all of this at the end of the video, but I know you came here for the forecast, so let's go ahead and talk about the channeled message for this month. As I selected a deck of cards for you this month and I began to meditate over your sign, the first thing that I saw in my mind's eye was just this beautiful star, kind of the stereotypical star that you would see like around Christmas time with all the different points, like the Star of Bethlehem. And I just kept looking at all the different rays of light shining out from this star. And as I did that, a single ray connected to my heart and then created this circle around me. It was almost like a spotlight, an actor walking on stage. And really powerful, really welcoming, very positive energy associated with this. I think many of you are going to have that star moment come through this month. And that could mean that you have to step into the spotlight. You could have a moment where you're being challenged or called to really show your true colors. Now, I love the star. To me, it's a card and a symbol of integration. And there is a strength that is inherent with the star, which is when you truly know who you are, what you want to do, that illumination, that brilliance that is part of that soul light that you're connecting to, it attracts very high frequency opportunities in your life. There's a sense that any clouds that might be around you, any darkness, any fear, it gets burned away. Because when you think of what a star can do in a solar system, it can clear all of that. So when this stand-up opportunity comes into your life this month, I would really encourage you to embrace it. In fact, I captured this in automatic writing as follows: don't mute your light, shine, be bold. This means to stand up for yourself, to stand up for what matters. And I feel like some of you might get this sort of aha moment where you realize this is what I really want to do, or this is why I was in this situation. And it's almost something that you can't avoid. There's really some leadership opportunities that are coming through for many of you this month as well. The question for you is, are you prepared for that? Are you ready to accept it? If not, it's probably going to come through in 2020 as well. But this month, there's a chance to kind of supercharge it and get on that path a little bit faster. And you may be able to avoid any sort of tests that come through with respect to your integrity, to your opinion, to your leadership, because the sooner you kind of show that part of yourself, the sooner people are going to see that potential and start to respect you for yourself. If you kind of hide that, however, or if you give your power, your decision-making ability to somebody else, then you're going to bring people into your life that will kind of constantly be there testing you and showing you that, you know, you need to stand up. So whatever it is this month surrounding integration, purpose, or passion that's kind of coming out and asking for your attention, I encourage you to really embrace that. So again, don't mute your light. In fact, it's better to shine and be bold, stand up, stand out there, and make a difference. You are the star this month. It came through very clearly in my visualization. Somehow you're going to reach out and have an impact on people's life, but you have to be seen. Your face, your name, your personality is going to get out there a little bit and be a part of this package, okay? Let's go ahead now and take a look at the cards and see what additional information is coming through. As always, I like to remain quiet at this point, but afterwards I'll pull each and every card up and talk about how it relates to you in the month ahead. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the Catalyst card for this month. I'll talk about the function, then I'm going to break apart this very interesting illustration here. The Catalyst functions as a connective thread to everything that's in front of me, so it's a very important card. Specifically, what it does is it helps you avoid pitfalls and really attach to the highest frequency energy. So when I looked at this, I had two old school references that came to my mind. I actually heard the Twilight Zone music because it reminded me of the sort of hypnotic effect that you saw at the beginning. Also, it's worth noting the Twilight Zone usually always had a twist. Things were not what they appeared to be. And you didn't want to get caught up in something that could leave you in a place where you never imagined you would be. So there is a warning here that there is something that appears one way but is another. It's kind of a trickster energy. And as I was saying just a moment ago, this is very hypnotic. It's a stereotypical thing that you would see when someone's trying to hypnotize you. Either it's watching sort of a pendulum go back and forth or that spiral, which puts you a little bit under a spell. And when you look really closely, it's actually someone's words here. We see a face, and this is the mouth, and this is all the stuff coming out from someone's communication. So this represents gossip, hearsay, anything that is unsubstantiated. It can be fear-based communication, hate-based communication, and overtly and unnecessarily critical feedback. So if there's somebody in your midst that tends to go into these lower frequencies of communication, what you want to do this month is pull back. This person is spinning a web, and if they keep doing it, they actually might kind of spin themselves into a corner and they won't be able to get out of it. You just want to stay clear of this. It's really important because when I look at recent past, I see the Three of Cups. Generally speaking, I like Three of Cups. It's a celebration card. It's one that also indicates new people coming into your life. So if you're trying to find a partner or make new friends, this is great. But the Three of Cups, depending on its position and other cards, can also indicate things like cliques, gossiping, or sometimes having a group mentality that is kind of polarizing, so taking sides unnecessarily. And if you look at this, most people are happy, but there is one person here that seems to not be a part of the group. So I can almost hear you thinking, what am I supposed to do with this? Well, I don't work with fear. I work with trying to find a way to help elevate things. So looking at this highest sphere here, this is going to be communication based on fact, on love, on bringing things to light. We talked earlier, don't mute your light, be bold, shine. If something's happening here that you need to bring to light, then you're going to step in and bring it to light. And help advocate for that person. So some of you may decide to reveal what's going on and show this person for their true colors, or you can just lead by example and say simply, I don't agree with you, and say, no, this person is great, or stop saying that. I don't communicate like that. This isn't right, and it's actually against policy. So you just play by the books and lead by example, and if someone in your life doesn't take that example, then advocate or remove yourself from the situation if you have to. But somehow don't participate in any lower frequency communications. Again, don't gossip, don't ostracize, don't just say mean things. And if there's something that needs to change, come up with a solution. So be proactive, be positive, be affirmative, and protect yourself and others. You shouldn't put up with someone doing this to you either. So this is also about putting limits and saying, that doesn't work with me. Stop that now. And people aren't always used to someone calling them on that. So just know that if it feels right, if you feel comfortable and safe doing that, then go ahead and do it. And if you need to get help, go ahead and get help too. Talk to human resources, talk to a parent, talk to someone that you can trust. The good news here is that I'm not seeing cards that would indicate danger. There was no devil, there was no 10 of swords. What I see instead is more akin to peer pressure, bullying, or just saying things that aren't right. So if you are witness to it, put a stop to it. If you're tempted to do it, don't do it. It's pretty easy on how you can kind of take care of that. If someone needs your help and they're crying out for help, help them. So that's how you can kind of take this energy and neutralize it. Let's go ahead now and move along to the Celtic Cross. There are a couple of key messages that I want to cover today. One is going to be just sort of the story of you, your life, your energy. The other one is about your relationships. I see a ton of relationship cards this month, and for some of you, a relationship that is kind of being put through the test. Could be in crisis, could be breaking up. I'll talk about it more in a moment. I believe there's a decision some of you have to make in that respect. But one thing I want to highlight before we get into any of that is that the crowning card is the star. And that goes right hand in hand with everything that I was talking about in the channeled message. Now, the star wasn't upright, she was reversed. So this is about integrating, being honest with yourself, and again, not muting your light. You want to be able to shine, to lead, to really be in that position of power. Okay, so now let's get into the spread card by card. The center card is actually quite positive. We have the Nine of Cups here, and the Nine of Cups shows that some of you have reason to celebrate. Perhaps you've worked really hard, you have a little bit of a breakthrough this month, and you're feeling good as the month kicks off. Nine of Cups, however, always carries with it a small cautionary note, which is, it took a long time to get up there. You want to enjoy this moment, so absolutely celebrate it. but know that there's going to be highs and lows. Don't let the highest highs or the lowest lows define the month overall. It's all about sort of your batting average and finding that nice happy medium. So this card is saying practice moderation, celebrate successes when they happen, don't let the lows bring you down too low, and you're going to be fine. I think that some of you are overdue for a vacation though. I like that we have both the Nine of Cups and the Three of Cups. That's saying if you haven't done something to look back at the past year and say, hey, I actually really did well here, here, and here, then do it. It's going to make you happy. At the very least, put something on the calendar for January or February so you have something to look forward to. Those of you that are either a parent, a boss, a leader, or an elder of some sort, we have the Empress card on top of that, and it's saying lead by example, particularly in what I just talked about. Back when I had an English teacher that made me read the Christmas Carol and watch all the different adaptations of it, one thing that I remembered was that there was a really nice boss that Scrooge went back in time and saw. I think it was like Fezziwig. Don't quote me on the name. But anyway, this boss was never sort of stingy with things, would be really kind with time, with money, and was easy at sort of giving out compliments when someone deserved it. I think there's a chance this month to make someone's day by just simply saying thank you, by letting them go home early, by having a company party, by showing generosity. And this is about, again, leading by example. You're going to do that in your communication, but you're also going to do that in how you act and in your nonverbal sort of decision making. So just be a good leader. And I think that your modeling behavior this month is important. And more than anything, I think for many of you, that's what the star is indicating. People are watching you and they're learning from you. And you may not know that some people kind of put you up on a pedestal. So don't underestimate your ability to set a good example. The Empress also is saying this month, keep a close eye on everything. Communication, we've given a great deal of attention here, but I would say you also want to look at your finances, and you want to be making sure that any major decisions that are going on, that you're involved. All of these Cups cards show a lot of people and a lot of sort of emotions that are being put into play here. I think it's important for you to tune into yourself, know what's right, and try to get a sampling of what's going on. But as a leader, you're going to have to sort of set the tone here. So whatever you're leading, whether it's a group of friends, business, or just, again, you're a good example for others to follow, you're going to have to find the best route and go with it. I think that there's a little bit of danger in maybe getting caught up in groupthink or sort of a group situation. So trust yourself. That's another piece that comes through with that. Also, with the Empress over all of these highly emotional cards, the Nine of Cups and the Three of Cups, is just saying, especially during this holiday season, to exercise moderation when it comes to how much you're celebrating. I know I'm giving you two different messages. One is that you should have a good time. I would say when you have a good time, just don't go overboard, okay? Deep past, we have the Ace of Cups. This is a slightly unusual illustration for the Ace of Cups, and I like it. It's saying that for many of you, you may have decided to put some of your passion, some of your inspiration into sort of tactical things or into physical things. So if you were an artist, this means that maybe you decided to put this into a painting, a project, or some sort of a play or something like that. And it feels like you were inspired to do something by someone else. So I like that, but now it's showing that some of you want to put the energy into relationships. And this is what I was seeing here, is that there are a lot of people coming into your life right now. So if you're single and looking, there's no shortage of opportunities over this holiday season for you to kind of connect with someone. If you're single and happy, I still see partnership opportunities. It could be business. It could also be people that are interested in you, so be ready for that. If you're in a relationship, this is perhaps where it's the most difficult, because for me, the Three of Cups can indicate temptation. It can be sort of a prying parent. It can also be someone in your life that's trying to create a wedge between you and someone that you care about. It doesn't always have to be romantic. There could be two close friends and there's a third friend that wants to sort of get in on what's going on. So this month, be careful, be discerning on who you let into your life. And I think that you've in the past maybe pulled back a little bit and maybe not want to be hurt because It looks like that Ace of Cups. For me, it feels very solo. And sometimes I see the Ace of Cups and I think, oh, there's deep love that's been happening. But for you, when I'm looking at this, especially with the Empress here, it feels like some of you have taken your passion, taken your energy, and kind of used it in your own life for yourself, and that's A-okay. But now people are coming in, and it's going to be important for you to be aware of what's going on and to be picky, once again, with who you're going to kind of interact with this month. I'm going to pause for a second and talk just about people in a relationship because I need to deal with these cards and then we'll go back into the general. If you're in a relationship, again, a third party could be entering in, which could cause complications. We have the Star card in reverse, and I believe this is about shining a spotlight on what's going on, about being honest. The Star in reverse almost reminds me of the Moon on some levels, which is you can't hide from something that's right in front of you. And for some of you, this could mean that there is a difficulty. There's a little bit of turmoil. You may decide to not stay in the relationship. You might fight a little bit. The Three of Swords is putting something to the test. And when I'm looking at the environment, we actually have Judgment. We have Gabriel here, which is saying that some of you may just decide that it's time to move on. It's time to walk away. And then we see the Six of Swords, which is walking away. But this, in the ego here, there's a question for some of you of what that promise meant, whether it was a promise of friendship, of employment, of whatever that partnership is. It really did mean a lot to you. So I want you to really be, again, picky this month. The Judgment card is saying, was everything right? If not, you've already kind of made your decision. Judgment isn't the same as justice. Justice, you're still sort of weighing it out. Judgment, you've made your decision, but you maybe haven't completely made peace with the decision. And I think that's what this month is going to be for many of you in a relationship. This card for me indicates breakup or walking away. So does this one. So does this one. But there is a deep, deep affection for many of you. So if you need help, talk to someone that you can trust. I'm thinking a professional in this particular situation. You might need to go to counseling for that. Okay? Let's now pull it back into a general forecast for those of you that are single and happy or in a relationship and everything's going well. I'm going to now really formulate this for the general audience here. So going back to what we were talking about here, Three of Cups can just be a celebration. This is a month of parties and absolutely a time when all of you might be celebrating, so that makes perfect sense, and I think that you don't have to worry too much about that. Make an effort to be inclusive this month. I did highlight that earlier, so this would be you just talking to someone who seems to be alone. You might be sort of the mixer in that party, making everyone feel like they're a part of this. If you're trying to find a new job, this is a good time to do that. The Three of Cups is very favorable for anyone that's trying to connect with new people in their life. The Star card, also really good for trying to pitch an idea, sell a product, find a new job, be noticed. But you have to be maybe a little bit more honest with what you truly want. The Star card in reverse can be cyclical. It can be sort of like, well, I've always done this. I'll just hop to the same job in a different company. When in fact, this card is coming through and saying, but is there something else that you really want to be doing in your life? Maybe give that a chance. And for some of you, it's hard to walk away. Those same commitment cards that I was looking at with relationships hold true in anything that you're committed to. A job, a place that you're living, even just a way of thinking. Sometimes we get stubborn, and I do see this desire to pull away from something this month, but it's hard for some of you. There's a lot of nostalgia, or there's a lot of energy where you've kind of dug in, and it's sort of like, how do I get out of that? In that situation, I really think what's important is time and space. The Six of Swords can just be about taking a little time for yourself. And here's the great thing. We have Six of Wands. It's recognition. I know this is a different illustration. She's actually the sixth one. It looks like it's five, but the five is actually a hand with the 5 wands behind it. But with this Six of Wands, it's showing you standing out of the crowd again. And there are 2 moments of this. This is your crowning card. This is your outcome card. So with the Six of Wands, great leaders are actually people, again, that inspire. You don't have to sort of play to the crowd expectations. You don't have to worry about acceptance. You don't have to sort of play a part of this gossip or this clique. If you can't make it work where you're at, you can actually make it work on your own. And so some of you may decide to start a new company or start a new partnership or start something new where you feel like you're more in the driver's seat. So it'll happen, but I feel like you need some time to decide when and how to kind of make some of these changes in your life. Let me just take a quick scan before we expand the forecast, and I'll hit on anything else that kind of comes through. The first, of course, with the Three of Swords is to manage stress. As you can see with this, it can affect your heart, your blood pressure, any sort of hypertension here, and also just feeling sometimes like it's too much to take. So that's why I think it's important this month for you to take some time off to practice really good self-care. So getting enough sleep, eating correctly, making sure that you're not having too much sort of cholesterol or salt or whatever your trigger is. I know for each person, there's different things that you might be looking for, but just make sure that you're where you need to be, and if not, go to a doctor and get some help there. There may be something that you need to get some professional advice with. So judgment can also be making sure that everything is written down correctly and that you're okay with that. Again, I feel for most of you, this has to do with being okay with a decision that you're ready to make or you've made, but you just need to sort of weigh in a little bit more and take that leap of faith after that. And that will happen once you've given yourself that space. Other than that, I think we're okay here, and I'm going to expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Let's begin with your health card. Health is mind, body, and spirit. So it's not just how you're feeling from a health perspective, it's how your emotional state connects with that. It's how people around you, environmental factors as well, are contributing to that. The message this month says the Divine Director, which by the way absolutely connects with the Empress card and also the Star card and also the Six of Wands. So with respect to that, it says intervention and purpose. Divine intervention is occurring. Know that you are being guided. Happiness is your purpose. And I would say for many of you, stepping into that and feeling like, I'm going to do what makes me happy and that's okay. Not from a sense of selfishness, but from a sense of purpose, like life purpose. So if you've been living your life in service to others, perhaps as a teacher, perhaps as a healer, maybe you've raised a family and now you're sitting and thinking, what am I going to do now that makes a difference to me and is going to also have an effect on this planet in a positive way? This is where you start to get into your life purpose. You don't have to wait for that event to happen for you to sort of get on your life goal. But some of you are going through an awakening this month with respect to your, I would say your psychic skills, and also just understanding that there's more than what you've been doing. There's more than a 9-to-5 job. There's more than maybe just a relationship status, being in or out of a relationship. It's, am I happy? Am I truly being who I need to be? To me, Judgment can be a rebirth card. And in some decks, it's called that actually. It's one before the world. It's number 20, 21 is the world. So for many of you, this is a very clear stage where it's like, I need something more. I'm ready for the next thing. And I realize that letting go of this, it's not the end, it's just the beginning. So now that you're in this new phase, it's sort of anything can happen. It's like the world is your oyster. So if you believe divine intervention is happening, if there's a breakup going on, if you need to leave someplace, whatever you're deciding to do to separate, because I see a little bit of separation happening, it's for your greater good. If you're driving that ship or if the ship's being driven, it doesn't matter. Basically, it's the divine hand moving you, and that's the message here. So try not to fight something that needs to happen. This again kind of reminds me of The Oracle in the Matrix, a movie that I recently rewatched. In one of the 3 movies, she was talking about telling Neo that he already knew the answer. He just he wasn't ready to accept it just yet. So with this Judgment card, I keep getting that you know what you need to do, but for some reason, you need to kind of make the decision to do it. And I do see it happening here. So the Six of Swords is showing me it might take a month or 2, but some of you are ready. It will unfold, and I see good things in the future. Six of Wands is great. That is hand in hand with the Star. It's recognition, success, being accepted, and not worrying too much about that, doing what you need to do in order to get there. So as I said earlier with respect to health, just really focus on taking care of yourself, managing your stress, not going to extremes with respect to food and drink, particularly around this season. Let's look at wealth now. Wealth is not just money, it's opportunities, it's self-worth, it's how you are either attracting or pushing away things with respect to your money and resources. So we have an impasse. Some of you feel like you've hit perhaps a glass ceiling, like people around you aren't listening or that you're not making the impact that you need to. If that's the case, I see it's okay. I mean, these are clear indications of being ready to leave. Isn't it interesting that in this particular judgment card that we actually see the star in the background, and the star is your crowning card. So do what you know is right. Do what you're feeling guided to do. I already see it there. You already know what you have to do. So for some of you, it's just walking away and trusting that there's going to be something better on the horizon. If you have a family that you need to support, if you have people that are counting on you, then do the work this month to find something else, because guess what? You're very appealing from a sort of energetic standpoint. The Three of Cups, the Star card, and the Four of Wands, it's actually showing me that you have friends, you have colleagues, you have connections. Utilize those this month, find something, and then walk away from whatever it is. In a relationship, don't worry about being alone. This is saying you have everything that you need to be accepted, to make new friends, to find someone else. It's more important to be happy. So there is a separation that's going on for many of you, and finding something new and doing something that is more fulfilling. It's crossing through everything: relationships, work, and health. So let's go a little bit deeper now. Let's look at love right now. I'm going to break this into 3 different parts. First, people that are in a relationship, those that are single and looking, and those that are single and happy. And if there's an overarching message at the beginning, I'm going to highlight that. The card was reversed, and it says, joy and delight. Open your heart to joy. So as I said at the beginning, it's a good time to celebrate. Go to those parties that are going on this month, schedule a vacation, celebrate your success. Your joy is infectious. It's also attractive. So it doesn't matter what level of relationship you are in or looking for, that smile, that laughter, that excitement in your sort of energetic field is an attractive force. So put yourself in situations that allow you to feel joy and happiness. Makes sense. Let's look now at being in a relationship. We talked about sort of being in a pressure test. You get to decide this month. We have the judgment card right there. I feel like for many of you, the ship has kind of sailed, because that's what we literally see going on right here. So as I'm reading this for you, I'm just going to let you know that whatever decision you made is for the best, because the Six of Wands means that you're thinking about the right thing, okay? And I have a split decision. So some of you are deciding to stay, some of you are deciding to leave. Whatever you've decided to do, good for you, okay? The most important thing at the end of the day is that you're not changing who you are, and that whatever was making you feel uncomfortable has been resolved. As long as those things hold true, you're okay. If they don't, it's time to revisit that and make sure that you're both in agreement about what you need. For those of you that are single and looking, it's a great time to be single, because we have the Three of Cups here. Be very discerning though. The Four of Wands shows me that some people are interested in commitment. Some are very, very sort of casual. And so put out in the universe what you're looking for, so that there's no disappointment, okay? And if you're not seeing what you want immediately, then again, hold out for what is important, what matters. Don't be afraid to wait a little bit, because this is about waiting and allowing something to come to you. So just don't rush it. That would be my advice for those of you that are looking. And don't change who you are. Don't be more or less than you are. Be exactly who you are, because the Star card reverse shows that sort of tendency to try to change your perception or the way that people are perceiving you. Just be yourself. For those of you that are single and happy, this is a great time to network. The Three of Cups still shows that you have the ability to attract new partnerships. Great for business. The Six of Wands shows the same thing. It's really good for maintaining business. You may have some travel on the horizon this month as well. The travel looks like it's good. You're going to have a good time. And again, just make sure that you're being yourself, because I see some modification of your energy there. Also, some of you may decide to sign a contract. This could be a new job, the Four of Wands and the Judgment card. So all of that looks good. Just make sure that your heart is 100% in it and you're not repeating anything from the past, any of the sort of mistakes from the past. All right, let's look at your Destiny card, which is very malleable. This is a free will card, if you will. And it says metamorphosis. I agree with that. This month is all about change and shifting. Not changing who you are, but perhaps stepping into your truth and changing by doing that the way other people see you, but not necessarily having to change. It's really about being honest, being transparent, shedding a skin. You may be changing jobs, though. You may be stepping out of relationships. Some of you may decide to move. I definitely see that kind of shifting and that kind of changing. But for some of you, it's really just about understanding who you are and deciding to own that and step into that truth and that light. So exciting energy, exciting opportunities for you this month. Because we covered so much and there was so many different levels of meaning, I'm going to do my best to wrap it all up in a nice package here and then leave you with your closing word. So I'm going to turn the camera down and we'll review everything that we talked about. Your channeled message this month was to be honest, to not mute your light, to shine and be bold. And we saw the star that I was alluding to, and she was reversed. So that makes a lot of sense what I was talking about there. It's just really making sure that you're not changing who you are or what you want to do to please others. Because ultimately we see that you're going to get that acceptance when you shine the way you should, when you are exactly who you need to be. There's an important message with respect to communication this month. Don't fall under the spell of someone who is charming, or don't fall victim to sort of gossip this month. It's important to stay above that. Speak kindly of others. Stop gossip in its tracks if it's something that's existing in your periphery or in your sort of presence. And if you need to, just walk away. So it's not a good energy. It's not something that makes sense. So stay higher in your communication this month. Celebrate any successes that come your way. Don't let any of the setbacks that might occur pull you into any situation of feeling sad or uncertain. You're exactly where you need to be. And as this card shows, you've worked really hard to get where you're at. So celebrate that. And if you're in a leadership position, lead by example and acknowledge that. Let people know how well they're doing, give them time off, give them incentives. With respect to other aspects of your life, just take the driver's seat. This is basically the Queen card here. So the Empress is in control and she sets the tone for everything. People are looking up to you, whether you know that or not, so act accordingly this month. Love is all around as I'm looking at this spread. It's in the past. It's also one of the key things that we're looking at in the future as well. So what I think is important for you is to follow your heart. It's led you to where you're at so far. For many of you, it's led to success at work and in projects and in other parts of your life. Now it's coming through and it really wants you to be happy. And that's the message that we're seeing with all of these cards. We'll get into that again here in a second. There's a chance to meet new people this month, clearly. We have the Three of Cups, so that is new love coming in, new friendships, new networking opportunities. In existing relationships, it can be a little bit of a wrinkle. Somebody could be trying to get between you and someone that you care about, so be discerning, be awake, be aware, and don't allow that to happen. And when it comes to sort of office sort of niches and things like this is saying don't let some sort of a clique happen. You want to kind of make sure that everyone is feeling included and a part of things. So be above that. With respect to moderation, these two cards side by side can show that there may be too much partying for some of you. So just literally rein that in and be smart. The star card in the crowning position tells me that you're headed in the right direction right now. And whatever your goal, your dream, or your aspiration is, stay true to that. With the Six of Swords and the Six of Wands here, we're seeing success, recognition, and really once you own that completely, that you're going to be happy and fulfilled with that path. So I'm encouraging you to honor it. You have to work through something that makes you unhappy first. The Three of Swords can show a disagreement, an internal sense of dissatisfaction, maybe even a health sort of challenge for some of you. Whenever you get through this, and I do believe you will get through it, you're going to feel a lot better, and this is a necessary sort of catalyst or trigger in your life to bring you into a higher energy. That's what judgment, that's what the star are trying to do. So allow that to be exactly what it is. It's a vehicle to get to a better place. Four of Wands, you have a lot of love and support this month. Even if you decide to step away from someone or something, you can do it with that bridge intact. You don't have to see all that you've built fall away. So do it with dignity and do it with grace. You'll be fine. If you decide to stay, make sure that you both agree on the new sort of terms that you have to kind of act by and to have a successful relationship and contract. There's travel, there's separation, there's some time alone for almost everyone this month. I feel that that's going to be very clarifying, very healing, because above it we have Six of Wands and below it we have Judgment. So you're going to get a lot of understanding of what you need to do, and I think that's a good thing. Ultimately, I see you stepping into a place where you can be yourself, you can be in your own skin, and you're not hiding. So I like that. That is all about incorporating who you are, standing with integrity, and loving yourself. That self-love is attractive for other people, for other opportunities. With respect to health, wealth, love, and destiny, in health, we have this divine director card. So again, leading by example and also not waiting for someone to tell you what you need to fix in your life. That's really what this card is saying. Many of you in your career feel perhaps that you are stuck. In school or in other parts of your life, you feel maybe that recognition is lacking. If that's the case, it's time to course correct. That's what the Six of Swords is about. Take a different direction. It's okay. There's a lot of positive cards that we've gone through with respect to that. With love, there's a lot of choices this month, literally with the Three of Cups and the Nine of Cups. If you're in a relationship, there might be temptation. There could be an outside party that's trying to create some tension, or you might just feel like you want to explore new things. Honor this and figure out what you need to fix and either fix it or move on. That's the main thing that I see for those in relationships. If you're single and looking, you have opportunities. Be discerning, because we have two very sort of different cards here with the Three of Cups and the Four of Wands. If you're single and happy, there's a lot of opportunities for networking, so take advantage of that. For destiny, we have metamorphosis. I think for many of you, it's stepping into something that feels authentic, revealing a part of yourself that you haven't before. It's not so much about changing, but revealing. For others, it's about stepping out of a work or love situation that no longer suits you. Whatever it is, know that this energy that we saw in wealth is going to dissipate, this impasse that you might be feeling. As long as you honor what the change is that you need to make, you're going to move past that and feel like your heart is opening, that you're able to step into something and be yourself. And ultimately, this is going to give you peace of mind and allow you to be the star that we saw here at the top of the spread. So this brings your monthly reading to a close. I hope that it gave you the guidance that you need to make the decisions in front of you and navigate all of the opportunities. But if you ever feel like you want to talk a little bit more about something that we covered here, or perhaps there's something else going on in your life and you'd like some advice, you can absolutely reach out to me. If you click on the first card or the first link below the video, this will take you to my booking site where you can take a look at my rates and my availability. And if it works for you, then please go ahead and schedule an appointment. I look forward to talking to you. Otherwise, if you just want to say thank you and support videos just like this, you can click on the second card or the second link. This will take you to a part of my website that outlines how you can become a patron. And this includes everything from making a one-time contribution to joining me on Patreon, or even clicking the join button here now on YouTube. This not only helps me buy cool decks and supplies, but it also helps me set up the production time necessary. So for all of you that have done this in the past, what you saw today is a direct result of your kindness and your generosity, and just like to say thank you. There's a third way that everybody can make a difference, and all it involves is a few clicks. If you haven't already clicked like and subscribe, please consider doing that now. You can also leave a comment if you enjoyed what you saw here. And then feel free to click on the third card or third link to join me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, I have a newsletter if you're interested. Once you're connected with me on the different social media networks, feel free to share what you see here to your feed, and know that that really makes a big impact, not only on the growth of this channel, but also in helping me check off some of the things that I'm trying to do on a planetary level. I want to start great conversations about spirituality so people aren't afraid to talk about what I talk about here. I want to help people with a free resource so that they can find a way through challenging times, and just be here as a beacon of light so that I can kind of pass on the torch and hopefully inspire other light workers out there. So a simple share actually does all of that, and I want to say thanks for helping in that part of my journey as well. Now I'd like to leave you with a closing message for this month. I'm drawn to the Six of Swords, interestingly enough. For this, what came to mind was rite of passage. I feel like many of you are at a point in your life where you're right at the precipice of making a change. Not only that, but the hard work that you've been doing has allowed you to get to this vantage point, has allowed you to have this perspective. All that's necessary is a decision on your part, or an acceptance of a decision that you've made but perhaps not really given yourself a chance to embrace. The journey is going to be an exciting one in 2020. I see success. I see a new sense of self in 2020 for many of you. But you have to make peace with that. And I feel like some of you are kind of at a point where the big opportunity this month is answering the question, are you ready for the journey ahead? And where do you want to go? Once you can kind of clarify that, everything else will come into focus. And the answer will be different for everybody. Some of you may be looking for clarity in relationships. Some may be looking for clarity in work. Some of you might be trying to find more of a life purpose. It really depends on your age, your experience, and what your heart is saying. I really do want you to tune into your heart this month as well. This is going to be the sort of key that will unlock what we see here in the Six of Swords. So trust your heart, trust your third eye, and allow yourself to really shine and bask in this wonderful energy that I could feel at the beginning that wants to come into your life. And don't be afraid to be really in a place where you're experiencing joy and happiness. And we saw that here. Joy and delight is ready to come through. And when you are in that space, I feel like you're also going to meet people. You're going to experience new opportunities and open up even more in the way of abundance. So good luck with what's coming through. Good luck with the decision that some of you are grappling with. You've already decided to do the right thing. It's just a matter of taking the steps now to make it happen, okay? Wishing you love, light, and happiness now and always. Have a wonderful new year. And any holidays that you celebrate, I hope that they are also filled with joy. I will see you again for the January readings. So keep an eye on my channel as to when they'll be coming out. It's going to be exciting because, as I said, we'll be covering some of the foundational energy of 2020. So I look forward to talking to you more about that. In the meantime, take care of yourself, and I'll see you real soon.